I was sitting there, the weight of a lowball glass resting in my hand. Whiskey neat. No ice to dull the burn. Around me the wedding reception hummed. White linen draped tables. Crystal glasses clinking. Fake laughter that sounded too practiced. Like everyone was trying to convince themselves they were happy. Regret clung to room like perfume, masked by designer dresses and forced smiles. And at the center of it all stood my ex-wife, radiant in that way only liars seem to manage, laughing too loud, tossing her hair for an audience of well-manicured friends. A performance, every move rehearsed, perfected. Then she saw me, her eyes locked on mine, and in that split second, I saw her expression falter, just a flicker, but it was there. I hadn't been invited to this celebration. Her new husband had been, and he, in his innocent goodwill, had brought me along as his plus one. Poor man didn't know. Not yet. "You're here," she said, blinking, already bristling, her tone sharp enough to cut glass. Didn't expect admin staff to show up at events like this. The table laughed on cue, the kind of laugh that draws blood. But I didn't flinch. Her new husband turned to me, his face open, friendly, the picture of someone who had no idea he was standing on a fault line about to crack. "Wait, what do you do exactly?" he asked, genuinely curious. I let one breath out slow. One word. Audit. And like that, the room froze. Not metaphorically. Asterisk froze. Asterisk, you could feel the air thicken. Feel the way the laughter died mid-breath. The way eyes darted between us. Waiting. Her smile slipped, her lips parting then pressing shut. Her friend stiffened, their faces losing color as the moment shifted. It had started 5 years ago. Back when she married me for love. Or what I thought was love. We were the cliché. Met young, dreamed big, made sacrifices. I worked late hours to build us a future. I turned down promotions just to be home more, to show up for us. And she spent those nights texting someone else. "You're too soft," she once spat during a fight. All this boring desk job stuff. Just admin. What happened to ambition? I forgave her then. I let it go, or thought I did, until I found the messages, not just from him, my so-called best friend, but from 2 others. Names I knew, faces that had smiled at me across our wedding cake. In those messages, she called me easy to manipulate, said I'd never find out, and she was right. I hadn't. Not until that night, I borrowed her iPad to order takeout and saw the messages synced. I didn't explode, didn't confront her. I copied everything. And then, for 3 months, I played my part. I kissed her forehead every morning, packed her vitamins. I smiled as I watched her lie, and every night, I read more. I screen recorded, backed up files, tracked her locations, documented the hotel visits, the Venmo payments marked as errands, the Uber rides, the calendar entries disguised as yoga. And then I hired a private investigator, paid in crypto, clean. I audited her life the way I'd audited corporations, with precision, with patience. Because I wasn't just admin, I worked in compliance, yes, but forensic accounting. The kind that dismantles billion-dollar fraud rings. The kind that buries people without making a sound. I traced money, assets, shell companies. I learned how to find what was hidden and hide what I found. And so I hid it all. When I finally filed for divorce, she laughed. Laughed right in my face. Mascara smudged from too much wine. "Finally growing a spine," she slurred. But the laughter stopped when the settlement came through. Because by then, I'd already moved every piece off her board. The condo? Bought under an LLC she didn't know existed. The stocks? Gifted to my sister years ago. Gone untouchable. The car? Leased through my business. She got the couch. Some throw pillows. That was all. She tried to fight. Her lawyer gave up a month in. Turns out those refinancing papers she'd signed 2 years back. Buried in them were postnuptials she never read, never noticed. I agree, signature a nail in her own coffin. She told everyone I ruined her. Claimed I'd use her. But they didn't know the truth. Not yet. Years passed. She remarried. I stayed quiet. Until now. Her new husband, some tech entrepreneur, had landed himself a government contract. and they needed federal compliance clearance, a federal auditor, someone like me. Fate's cruel trick. I never said a word. Just showed up at the meeting 3 weeks before their wedding. Wore a tie she'd once bought me. Shook his hand. Watched him beam at my resume. Her name didn't come up until tonight. Audit, he repeated, blinking. Her fork trembled against the porcelain. I thought you were admin. One of her friends stammered. I said evenly, admin for federal investigations, financial crimes, fraud, asset manipulation, that sort of thing. The silence did what I didn't need to say. Her new husband turned, slow, like someone realizing the fire was already at his door. You knew each other? We were married, she said quietly, eyes down, too late for the truth to save her. Her friend stared wide-eyed, like witnesses to a car crash. I sipped my whiskey. There's actually a name for what she did to me. I said softly, voice low. Gaslighting. Financial infidelity. Repeated deception. It's costly in court. Sometimes criminal. Her eyes widened, the color draining from her face. You wouldn't, she whispered. I didn't, I said. Calm. I let it go. I smiled just a little, but I did flag some accounts tied to your new venture. Conflict of interest. They're under review. You might want to untangle your finances fast. He went pale. She leaned in, desperate. Why are you doing this? I met her eyes, voice low enough only she could hear. Once you call me a pawn. Forgot pawns become queens if they reach the other side. I stood, setting the glass down smooth and steady. I should go, I said to no one in particular. Early meetings, systems to audit, lives to rebuild. And I walked away. That night, I stood on my balcony, the city glowing below, the hum of life rising up from the streets. I didn't feel triumph, not revenge, just clean, like slicing away rot with a sharp blade. She never knew who I was. She thought I was quiet, safe, a man who wouldn't fight back. What she never realized was I don't fight loud. I destroy quietly. And when I'm done, there's nothing left to bury.